Hello, everyone. Welcome back for the second fucking time. It's been a hell of a night here. It's episode 59 and a half. Luckily, no one even knows what I mean because I deleted the first attempt that we even tried to do this fucking show. It's a bad Thursday night in Pittsburgh and Raleigh. So, fuck it all. We're doing it all live. It's John and Brad's here too. Everything sucks and I'm tired.
Doing it live. Fuck it. Fucking thing sucks.
Well, the frustration level is at a premium.
Wrestling is not.
No, it's not. I mean, that's the bad part. Evidently, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. No, not the rock, because ratings would actually be up. And a hard place is just the meeting of the minds that is the creative team, because they're all fucking stupid.
I would have thought the hard place was the private meetings between Roman Reigns and Vince.
All right. So in our first attempt at doing this episode 59, we were trying to go over Hell in a Cell. So here's what happened in a nutshell. No. We're going to do this right. We're going to do this right, and it's going to be easy, okay? So everything that happened is right here. There were 3 main events. 2 of them sucked. The kickoff match no one watched because half the place was empty. Roman beat Rusev. Bayley beat Dana Brooke in probably like a leg-kissing match. The club beat Enzo and Cass, but who cares because winning doesn't matter. Kendrick beat Perkins. That was exciting. Cesaro and Sheamus won by disqualification. Shocker there. Okay, so now the 3. All right, no, seriously, we'll do it right. We're gonna do it right. Hell in a Cell still sucked either way, so it doesn't matter if we're gonna do it right or wrong. It was still not good. But so out of those 6 matches I mentioned, disregarding the final 2, which were the other 2 main events out of the 3, talk about them. Bayley and Dana, irrelevant, right? And same with nearly every other one.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
And 5, 4, 3.
And that is it.
And 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Who was that again? That wasn't Letterman, was it?
No, Bill O'Reilly.
That was O'Reilly. That's right.
All-time classic meltdowns.
He and Chris Berman had a good one on Sunday NFL Countdown the one time. That was pretty good. I think it was Countdown. That or Primetime. But either way, Hell in a Cell didn't give us a lot to talk about because there's not a lot to talk about. Right? Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was not that great.
There wasn't. Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk. I'll let you talk.
That was just a show. It started off with Roman Reigns versus Rusev, and I don't think anybody takes Rusev as a credible contender to Roman Reigns at this point. He may have had a little bit of accidental blood, but essentially there was no blood. It was a physical, okay match. It's something we've, for the most part, seen for many weeks now. I'm just over it. And, you had the spot there, which was kind of cool at the end, where Rusev had the chain wrapped up in Roman Reigns' mouth in his submission finisher, and that should have been the end of the match if they were going to do that spot. Instead, Roman Reigns powers out like Superman and just basically beats Rusev right there. There you go. Roman Reigns wins, LOL.
But so, do you remember when they were talking about like trying to separate Roman Reigns from the main event? What happened to that? He is in the main event nearly every Monday. So, what do we have to do for us to not get lied to every fucking week?
Sure, if you're aware, John, but he was one of 3 main events on this pay-per-view. Yes, that's right. There was 3 main events somehow.
Yeah, no, there wasn't.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
There was one main event. One. Period. One. Singular. Singular means one. Come on.
Ironic you would use the phrase period to describe the actual main event.
Oh, okay, come on. We're not even there yet. So, yeah, Bayley and Dana Brooke. What happens? Bayley wins after losing a few weeks in a row. It's... okay, so...
A terrible match.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was.
Dana Brooke sucks.
If you want to lose consecutively... you're gonna get a title shot. So that'd be my goal. That would be my goal. Lose it like 8 weeks in a row, right? It might be a tough 8 weeks, but you'll get over it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then you get a title shot and probably win. Kevin Owens did it, and now Bayley's gonna do it because wins and losses don't matter anymore. They used to matter, but not anymore. So that was Bayley and Dana. I'm disappointed. They maybe not care about Bayley as hard as that is to do.
Well, the fans didn't even care about Bayley. I mean, they didn't care about this match at all.
People care more about Carmella and Nikki Bella than Bayley at all. Sad, isn't it?
And it's a total mess. It's sad. It's a total mess because she has the potential to be the women's face of the company and arguably one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time.
Well, fuck potential.
Just that she would be so over with that audience if they booked her correctly.
You're missing that key 2-letter word, Brad, and that's if. And if isn't just, it's not going to cut it. It isn't going to cut it. You're looking at somebody who is so freaking talented. Unbelievably talented. They don't know what the fuck to do with her. I don't know. I can't. They don't know. They don't know what they have. They never have known what they have. Vince McMahon got lucky with 5 guys and created a fucking empire. He got lucky.
He did. It's, it's a whole lot of ifs. It's a whole lot of ifs, so it doesn't matter.
Precisely. All right. So the club and they beat Enzo and Cass, which means Enzo and Cass get a title shot soon.
I don't understand how they have Enzo, one of the most over guys in the roster right now, and they continue to job him out. You protect the guys that are actually trying to get over or actually over. You would think that's what you do. Instead, nope. You just kind of beat them all the time and expect them to keep that same momentum. I just don't get it. Now, Anderson and Gallows have been beaten so badly, so consistently that they're kind of a joke. And, now they've started jobbing out Cass and Enzo. They have no direction for them. Forced to make Cass look as strong as possible in the matches they lose. And so it's just a very puzzling situation for me.
Wins and losses don't matter. You're older than me. You should know this. They don't matter because tomorrow Enzo could wrestle for the World Heavyweight Championship, and it would be like, well, it is. Yeah, no. It's just things just don't work that way. They just don't. Don't think we're not fucking stupid. All right, and I don't know why Vince thinks we are stupid because it makes my head want to bleed from the outside. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many examples, too. There just are. All right, what else happened? Kendrick and Perkins, great. They have purple fucking ropes. Good.
Well, before that, we actually had our second main event of the evening.
The only good match of the evening.
I hated this match. I have to be honest.
No, okay. I disagree.
With some dastardly help from Chris Jericho. They were clearly pissed about losing their main event spot, and I think they went out and Indie Fest, and I hated it. That's not my type of match. I don't enjoy that type of match really. So it wasn't my cup of tea.
Wait, so
there was a lack of selling. They're both mid-carders. They looked like they belong in the mid-card. It looked like a mid-card match, and it's just kind of how I felt about it.
Wait, so you didn't like any of it? I thought this match was pretty good.
It's an okay mid-card match. I mean, I just hated the selling. I hated the indie spot fest feel it had to it. I thought it was overkill, and it didn't tell a story, and it was not credible. You watch one guy super kick, the other guy immediately super kicks him back, then the other guy immediately hits him, and then he immediately gets hit back, and then he immediately hits again, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, this would have worked great for the main event in ROH in front of 200 people this week. But guess what? They're not ROH. They're WE.
Well, let's be real here. The reason they weren't the real main event is because of that reason. So you kind of just answered your own question, my friend.
I mean, I think Seth Rollins has been underwhelming since returning. I think he's overrated by a lot of smart fans. And frankly, I think Kevin Owens is highly overrated by a lot of smart fans. And I don't think he is world heavyweight championship material. I think he has decline in the title. And I actually think the title reign has hurt him. I think he's actually taken a step back character and booking-wise since becoming champion. I don't think it's done him any real favors.
You know what's funny? I think Sami Zayn would be much more over as the top guy on Raw than Kevin Owens is right now. Truthfully, I mean that.
Well, that's just because he's giving all the fans rides home after the show.
All right, enough jokes about Sami Zayn. What do you really think of him? Because you never told me. You never told me sincerely. I always played fucking along with your Baron Corbin jacking off bullshit. Now it's my turn. Instigate me in a positive manner for a change.
You want me to serenade the positives of Sami Zayn?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes. Wow. Put him over.
Wow. Well, luckily, this won't take much time.
Of course.
I think Sami Zayn is a natural white meat babyface. And I don't think in this day and age that is a lot of people. Okay, so you have something with that. I think he's a mid-card talent. There's nothing wrong with that. There was a lot of great guys in wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts, Ravishing Recruit. I could go on and on. Who are mid-card talent. They were also great, by the way. So that's not a knock. But I think they have something with him that kind of working from underneath, underdog, white meat babyface. But I think they've totally killed it with how they present him. They've just totally killed him.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
Can they fix it? Yeah. I mean, obviously it'll take time. They can fix it. But, if they don't understand what the problem is, they're probably not going to fix it. So those are the positives I see of Sami Zayn.
The only way he'll get fixed is if he goes to SmackDown. It's true.
Yeah. And of course, he's a solid in-ring worker. I don't like about his work as far as the indie style, less selling, less psychology, but he's deceptively athletic for his physique, and so he does some things in the ring really well. There you go. I have serenaded you with Sami Zayn positivity.
Finally, because we don't get enough of that. But then how does a guy like Rey Mysterio become one of the most over guys in a generation, and Sami Zayn can't even win a match? Explain that. Because he's Mexican? Really? Do you want to go that far? Isn't fucking Sami Zayn Turkish, wherever the fuck he is? He's a minority. Put him over.
Well, I think that had a lot to do with the unique style and appearance and size of Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was a huge star in Mexico. Obviously, he still is, but he's kind of like a legend, right? I mean, he's huge in Mexico. He built a big brand for himself in the United States. He's so small, and his look is so unique, and his style that it kind of benefits him, right? He is kind of like average height for a guy. Doesn't have a great physique, but he can do some of the athletic stuff that Rey can. But he also doesn't stand out as much because he's so bland, whereas Rey Mysterio stands out. He's very small. He has a very different appearance. He uses very much a cruiserweight, moveset. And also, by the way, he's been doing this for such a long time. So, WWE needed a Hispanic star for their audience, a Latino star for their audience, and so that's what they did. So it worked out for him. That was part of it, absolutely. And anyone who doesn't think that is just stupid. But yeah, I think that's the difference. They could do something with Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn is a better fit on SmackDown than Raw, though.
100%. Yeah, you're right there. 100%. I cannot disagree. So, as we continue on, Kendrick Perkins. That was a match, right? That happened. Wasn't even that good.
No, they don't allow the fucking cruiserweights to do.
They don't let them cruiserweight.
Yeah, they don't let them do the flippity doos. And then they don't present them like serious contenders like the heavyweights, like tough guys or anything like that. Fuck are they, right? This storyline going in was absolutely terrible. I thought they made TJ Perkins look like a complete clown. This killed his character. Nobody believed that Brian Kendrick was actually injured, so it just made TJ Perkins look like a total fool. And as a babyface, that's never a good thing. I think it really hurt his character. Really, really stupid stuff here.
I agree. All right, so that was that. Did we talk about the Cesaro that tag match that happened? So New Day won or lost via DQ. So that was the tag match. And to think, I actually thought they were going to pull like a nice little upset and have New Day lose. But
come on. This ending is terrible too. I mean, this was terrible too. I mean, this was a pay-per-view with some bad endings, and this was no exception. Nobody thought that the New Day was going to lose the titles. I mean, they're clearly going to break Demolition's record at this point.
You bet your ass.
Sheamus and Cesaro. It's like, okay, they had a match, and I thought the match made no sense because they have interference. They let Big E interfere in the ring, and then outside the ring there's some interference, and then the referee stops what is an obvious about to take place to cause a DQ outside of the ring. I just thought the whole finish was illogical and poorly thought out. And I just hope we move on from this entire Sheamus and Cesaro thing as soon as possible.
Well said. And on to the real main event, which is going to piss in a lot of Mark's cereal. This match was garbage. Yeah, it was garbage. Terrible. Ooh, let's have Sasha climb to the top of the... No. First of all, she fucking fall down like a sack of potatoes. Not only that, Charlotte's going to get up. What are they going to do? First of all, she can't even land a moonsault properly. Do you think someone should trust her tossing somebody off of a 20-foot... Oh, yeah, okay. So that was never, ever, ever going to happen. Instead, we had a nice little power bomb, which Charlotte nearly botched anyway. But I get told every day, well, Charlotte gets unlucky like Seth Rollins. Unlucky is once. 6 times is not unlucky anymore. That's just terrible. It was not a good match. The story made no sense. People left before the match even started anyway, so no one gave a fuck about it. I had people telling me it was the best women's match of all time. You shut the fuck up. It's not even close. I've seen Kelly wrestle a better match for Christ's sake. Overhyped, overrated, mediocre as all fucking hell. It was terrible, horrible, and I don't say that a lot, but it was.
Yeah, I thought it flopped. I mean, it absolutely flopped as a main event of a pay-per-view. And frankly, if we were not in the network era, this never would have been a pay-per-view main event to begin with.
No.
And that's just the reality. Look, you don't have to like it, but on this podcast, we're honest. And, if you get a little sand in your vagina over that, it's time to, log off. Because we're going to continue being honest.
It's
so, for me, it was... No, I just thought I agree with your assessment. I had to do a lot of spots. There was a lot of botching. It was just so bad. It was so sloppy. The crowd wasn't into it. In fact, there's numerous reports that thousands of fans left before the match. And
what confidence in that show? On that note, and you're going to say, I don't know what you were going to say. I mean, shouldn't that make you feel like shit? I don't know.
I would think that this would have buried this as a possibility going forward with Vince. Like, God damn, I was right.
Yeah, because Vince was right. He didn't want it to go on last. Triple H had to talk him into it.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I thought it was a complete mess. I thought the ending was just terrible. It was a natural selection out of nowhere for the win, and Sasha loses in her hometown, which Vince is probably the only person who doesn't understand that, audiences who are live would love to see the hometown hero win in their hometown.
No. No. Why? No.
And Vince is of that old mind. Oh, well, God damn, this will put some heat on Charlotte if we let her win. This was I think this was the compromise, right? Yeah, it can go on last, but Charlotte has to win because this initially was booked for Sasha to win, and when they decided it would go on last, they changed it. So, no doubt Vince had some fuckery in there. But I didn't like it at all, and I think her career is going to be like 5 more years at this point, maybe. And,
not even that.
And Charlotte wanted to do some moonsaults, and WWE had to nix it and say, no, you can't do it. It's unsafe.
Because it is unsafe. I'm 100% with that with the decision. No,
dude, she can't even do a moonsault off the top rope without botching it. She would have freaking broke her neck.
Or her heart. Everything. She could have died, but she doesn't care about that because she thinks she's impenetrable like her father. Yeah, her father survived the plane crash. You know what? He got so fucking lucky. I'm glad he's not dead, but I mean, don't judge because I'm a little flare, and if that's what she's thinking, then that's just so off base. All right? It's just not wise. You have to be wise. There's a reason why Triple H and John Cena can still wrestle and Randy Orton because they're not fucking stupid.
And as I'm watching this shit show and the stretcher spot trying to recreate Mick Foley and The Undertaker was a total flop. And Sasha's selling was terrible and there was so many botches. And I'm thinking, as bad as this is, I know Mick Foley is somewhere in the gorilla position. And he's cactus jacking off.
Now, tell me, so for Hell in a Cell, it's not special anymore. And for everyone that thinks it is, you're not watching the same show. It's not special anymore. There is a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell. Yeah, they're horrible.
Exactly.
But not only that, why do they have to live in the past? Why does everything have to be compared
a Hell in
to
a
one
Cell
match?
Should have blood. It should be the culmination of a serious long-term feud, not a gimmick pay-per-view you have every year just to do it.
Yeah.
That takes away from the importance of the match, and it just makes it have less meaning, and we see that every year now.
Yeah, so there's a Hell in a Cell because they're bored? No, a Hell in a Cell needs to happen if you've had like 8 matches back and forth, and it has to be the culmination of like a 7-month rivalry. That's when you should have a Hell in a Cell, not because you just want to. Because no one wants to be in Hell in a Cell on kayfabe. It's supposed to be like the last resort. But no, it's never going to happen. So Hell in a Cell was garbage. Oh, look, and so was Monday Night Raw. Jericho was fantastic yet again. We still don't know why Triple H helped out Kevin Owens. We have no idea. It's been almost 3 months.
Terrible storytelling by WWE here. I mean, it's not even defendable at this point.
No. So, wait. I do want to say, before we go into Raw, the booking of the women, I don't think has ever been worse. This whole women's revolution bullshit, what does that mean? That nothing makes sense anymore, and there are just some decent matches every now and then?
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, me.
If I'm Sasha, I never wrestle at a pay-per-view again. I only wrestle on Raw. Because then she knows she can win. Because she has never defended a title. Period. She's never won a championship at a pay-per-view. Only on Raw. And it's been twice. And you know what I think?
I think they're going with the winning streak with Charlotte, a pay-per-view winning streak.
Okay.
I do. I think that's one of the things because she's won like 13 or 14 pay-per-view matches. She's never lost on pay-per-view.
Great. That's
I think they're playing that out.
That's fine. They are more than allowed to do that, and you know what? That might be some pretty good TV. Not gonna lie to you, but to the
But why haven't they mentioned it? But why haven't they really mentioned it? I mean,
they did once.
Yeah, they've done it like once or twice. It's like, but that's not really planting the seeds, you know.
No,
they could have done a more effective job. Okay, Monday Night Raw. Let's get right into the week.
Yeah.
Goldberg, Bill Dad Bodberg.
He fell. He fell.
He fell and he can't get up.
He fell trying to do
the old man fell. He can't get up. He broke a hip.
Yeah. How about the when he was trying to do Muay Thai knees, he slips and he blamed it on ring rust. No, buddy, slipping isn't ring rust. Sorry to break it to you.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see this total mess of a match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. I got to be honest, I didn't want to see it. Now I think I may, just because it's going to be so bad. Watching a car accident you can't turn away from.
Listen, it's going to be just like Sting and Hogan and their fight in TNA, because the whole marketing behind that whole gimmick was we're not going to have a wrestling match. It's going to be a fight. Yeah, because you can't wrestle anymore. You stupid fucking idiots. And so it's going to be the same thing. Lesnar and Goldberg are going to have a fight, not a match, but a fight, and fight they will when Lesnar catches him too hard with an elbow and Dadberg gets pissed off and tries to kill him in the ring. It's gonna be fucking amazing.
I still think the fans are gonna rebel to some degree. I just think it's gonna be a disaster to a degree. I really do. And
you want to watch it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Goldberg comes out for the promo. Paul Heyman interrupts. Rusev comes out to protect Paul Heyman, and Goldberg leaves both of them laying after botching, of course. The spear he botched too. I mean, the spear looked terrible.
See, I think that was on Paul. I think that was on Paul for being too close to the
corner. That could have been. That could have been. And Paul's very fat, so maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I'm just shooting from the hip. But I thought they just totally buried Rusev here. I hated this. Have Jinder Mahal come out and do this, or someone like that, who's totally meaningless, who hasn't been on TV. But Rusev, a guy who has potential to be a main event level heel.
No, he won't. He never will. On Raw, that is. Never.
They just don't book him properly, and they take a guy who's physically imposing and who has been in the U.S. title picture. I mean, and they just totally job him out to a 50-year-old like nothing. Like, he just gets squashed. I just think this is terrible, terrible booking. I think they made him look weak, and I don't understand it. What's the end game here? Rusev versus Goldberg? I mean, if that's not it, then what was the point? Bring out Jinder Mahal. Let him squash Jinder Mahal. Don't hinder Jinder. Nobody really cares.
It's really interesting because Raw doesn't know how to use their roster. They've never been able, since like 2014, they've never known how to use their roster. I can even say 2012 to some degree. They don't know how to utilize all of their pieces. And when you don't, it's like working hard and working smart. Someone that works hard kind of forgoes the thought of like trying to utilize all of their resources at hand. Working smart does just the opposite. They don't work smart, and that's their problem. That's why they fail. Time in and time out.
Yeah. What did you think of Enzo Amore defeating Luke Gallows at a trick or street fight? A trick of street fight?
Listen, so it was Halloween, and Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack kind of like tossed a lot of shade at Raw. First of all, I gotta say, did you watch Talking Smack? I'm sure you did.
Did not get to watch Talking Smack this week.
Oh, it was a good one. They had Alpha on. Natalia was actually pretty entertaining, and they had Dean on. So throughout the night, they're going over the Survivor Series matchups, and Daniel's like, well, Raw likes a lot of Attitude Era people, so because Renee's asking like, well, who do you think they're going to add for the women or for the tag teams? He's like, well, probably some Attitude Era tag teams like DX, or they might get they might get the Rock and Sock, and then he's like, well, who do you think that fifth person could be? Oh, probably some Attitude guys like Road Dogg or JBL. and finally, so Renee's like, so who do you think can go up against Nikki Bella and Carmella? He's like, oh, well, Alondra Blaze is probably around. She'll probably go there. Maybe some more Attitude Era stars. It was a shoot. It was a total shoot because there's no way.
Is great.
It is. But anyway.
Yeah, so we had a trick or street fight.
Yeah, their promo was okay.
Yeah, the promo's fine, but this was a match that maybe was geared towards like a 5-year-old. I just think this is so fucking stupid.
But it was Halloween. But goddamn, it was Halloween.
Yeah, it's like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it. No one's watching this shit anyway. The pumpkin wouldn't fit on Gallows' head. I don't know if you noticed. So
yeah.
He had to hold it there himself so Enzo could come off and hit a top rope DDT spot on his head, which will not fit over his big head. Oh my God. What a mess.
It's embarrassing is what it is.
It is. That was embarrassing. Embarrassed to be a wrestling fan on that one. And that's not the first or the last time.
Never.
TJ Perkins defeats Brian Kendrick because...
in a non-title match.
In a non-title match on free TV. Kendrick cut a promo calling Perkins weak-minded. That's so great. Rub it in that he's a total fucking moron for believing he was injured. And then Kendrick just intentionally gets himself counted out and leaves. And laughs because he's not going to lose the title. Making TJ Perkins once again look like a fucking moron.
But hey, if that gimmick's consistent, I'm totally down for that, honestly. Yeah, just like make him feel stupid every single week. I would watch. I think it'd be hilarious.
They don't care about him anyways. They might as well. Mick Foley, in-ring promo. Jericho and Owens interrupt. Roman Reigns comes out as Mick Foley announces him as the guy on Team Raw Survivor Series. And then he announces Jericho versus Reigns for the... later in the show.
If that segment taught me one thing, it's that Roman looked so fucking exposed. He was, and the crowd.
Oh, absolutely.
The crowd couldn't have given less of a shit. They hated it. They booed him. There was not one cheer for him because normally you can hear like minor cheers from like the peanut gallery from the women and children. No one cheered. Everyone did not want him there. Nobody wanted him there. And it was apparent this time.
Yeah, I agree. He was completely exposed here. He was terrible on the mic as usual. He just does not have that top guy, face of the company, it factor. Look at the guys they've had in the past. Come on. Just look at the guys in the past. Austin and The Rock, even John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino. I mean, come on. Just look at these guys and compare them to Roman Reigns. He doesn't have it. Jericho would say it. And that's all there is to it. And I thought he just looked like another ho-hum mid-card guy here.
Because that's what he is. I mean, turn him heel or something. At least try. He was over as a stable. That's it. That's all he was.
Just going to triple down instead.
Yeah, and that's it. But either way, no. Jericho was amazing. Hey, the key of Jericho, lock it in, man. That was amazing. Fucking props. And the crowd popped. They popped hard for that. And
they'll pop for anything. Jericho right now. I mean, they love the guy because why? Because he actually is good at his fucking job, and nobody else on that goddamn show is, and so they appreciate it. And that's the problem he's running into. Is he's so good, and in comparison with everyone he works with, he's so much better that it actually ends up turning him face. It's just, what are you going to do, right?
It's sad.
It is sad. Well, when Jericho in his mid-40s is like, he's the best on the roster, and he makes everyone else look foolish. I just hope he goes to SmackDown so I can stop watching Raw. Because that's why I watch. I watch Jericho, and everything else is negotiable. New Day backstage promo. Charles Wright in his the Three Faces of Charles. Big E as Kama Mustafa, Xavier Woods as Papa Shango, Kofi Kingston as the Godfather, and I have no fucking idea what the point of this was at all.
To bury SmackDown?
Yeah. Yeah, so then we had another cruiserweight match with all of the purple goodies. Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. And Lince Dorado defeated Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Aria. Flippity-doo. And Drew Gulak's entrance video played instead of Cedric Alexander's, so there was a nice botch there. Swann super kicks Nese, rolls him up for the pin, and it's over.
Was it a good match? I fast-forwarded through it.
And, I fast-forwarded. I mean, who cares? Why would I watch it? They're not allowed to work like true flippity-doos, and they have no characters. They have no storylines, so why would I invest in it? I don't care.
Oh, because they used to wrestle.
I actually like Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. I like those two.
So do I. Well, hey, they used to wrestle for Dragon Gate, so that makes them awesome. And PWG, damn it.
This is awesome. Yeah. It means nothing. They'll have another 6-man tag next week because they're booked like the women in the Divas era. That's what they're booked like. No stories and just a bunch of thrown together multiple man matches. That's what they do.
Okay. Because as Colt Cabana once said, creative has nothing for you.
That is right. And Charlotte in ring promo. She's carried out on a platform by several men dressed in ancient Rome outfits. On her Survivor Series team and calls Bayley the weak link. Well, naturally, she fucking loses almost every match. That would actually be accurate. I don't know how that makes her a heel. Bayley comes out at Charlotte's request. Charlotte sets up a match because apparently she's the general manager. And then we have Bayley and Nia Jax in a squash. Bayley and beats her.
Wasn't that okay? Can I interject? So I put in my wrestling chat that's becoming so infamous for you now, and I said this is fucking stupid. Nia hasn't been around for about half a year, and Bayley's lost every match. So if we're gonna get a Bayley Charlotte feud and have just Bayley get bossed around, this is fucking awful. Everyone's like, no, the match was just as competitive as their one in NXT. Yeah. Oh, really?
That's what you call a terrible opinion.
And these are the same people that thought that Sasha Charlotte is one of the best women's matches of all time.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow is right.
But fear not, we had Cesaro and Sheamus defeat the Shining Stars as Sheamus locks in the Cloverleaf submission on Epico. And Cesaro and Sheamus are once again a threat and probably get a title shot where, they'll once again not win the titles.
I fast
So look forward to that.
Was it good?
Yeah, me too. I don't know. It wasn't good in Fast Forward. It wasn't good in Fast Forward, I'll say that.
Okay.
But never fear, because we had the best segment of the night with the Golden Truth visiting a haunted house.
I fast forwarded.
Wow. This was fucking terrible. I instantly fast forwarded it. How stupid is this shit? Are they writing this for 5-year-olds?
But it's Halloween!
How stupid.
Damn it!
Main event, Roman Reigns wins, LOL again, defeats Chris Jericho by DQ. He hits the spear, he's going to pin him, Owens interferes, Owens and Jericho attack Reigns, and then, by God, they use Seth Rollins to make the save on Roman, who the crowd hates, and they're trying to get Seth over as a babyface. Go figure that one out. Are we going to see a reunion? Is it going to be Seth and Roman as a team? Are they going to try and kill Seth to get Roman over?
Maybe. That would literally be the only... Well, they can't even bring back the whole Shield. Dean's on SmackDown and doing so much better than both of those two idiots. So it's going to be a wait-and-see kind of deal. But this week, Raw was pretty bad. If not pretty bad, it was very bad.
It was bad.
I just wish that... I'm seriously so sick of watching Raw at this point, guys. I don't want to watch it anymore. I really don't. Like, someone save me. I'm so sick of it. Whatever. But you know what? There's a silver lining, Brad. There's always a silver lining because SmackDown. SmackDown happened, and once again, it was really good.
It was definitely better than Raw. I see some opinions still. They're in the minority, but that Raw is the better show, and I just don't understand that opinion at all.
People think Raw is the better show?
It's more than clear that SmackDown is. Well, your buddies, the New Age Insiders.
They do? What?
They think Raw is better.
Wow. Why? Did they give you a formulated opinion as to why they think it is better?
No. I don't think they can. Who can?
Nobody. Not even God can tell me why Raw is better than SmackDown. So talk to me about SmackDown. And the underlying theme this week, everybody, is working smart, right? Right now on Raw. All right, so Brad, we're going to play a little game. On Raw right now, how many storylines are there that actually you can actually get behind? Seriously, I'm not kidding around.
If you include Chris Jericho's storyline, then you have one.
Okay.
In my opinion, so I would say one. Anything Chris Jericho.
Okay. Now, how many wrestlers on the Raw roster actually have relevance? Chris Jericho. I'll answer that one for you.
There's not much.
Anybody else? Maybe Charlotte? Maybe Charlotte. So there's two. Sasha can't win a title match after winning it once already, so I wouldn't even put her in there because she's hurt again. Anybody else? I have Charlotte in the New Day. Maybe. Am I missing anybody?
Yeah, I think the New Day, they've jumped the shark for me. They need to lose the titles majorly. I just, I'm over that.
So
they need to freshen up.
So we have two. How many storylines are on SmackDown that make sense?
Well, we've got the Wyatt family storyline. We've got the main event storyline with Dean and AJ. We've got the Miz storyline with Dolph Ziggler and also kind of Daniel Bryan. We've got the Nikki Bella and Carmella storyline. We've got quite a few fucking storylines.
What about Becky and Alexa?
Alexa Bliss. Yep.
What about Baron Corbin with management?
Yeah, another one.
American Alpha and the Usos. It's kind of soured, but it's going to get revived, I believe, soon.
I mean, it's not even a question. It's like you said. It's just the show is so different. You know how they write it. Dean Ambrose starts off the show with an in-ring promo, calling out James Ellsworth. AJ Styles interrupts and leaves them both laying. Dun dun dun.
So what do you think of Ellsworth?
Randy Orton.
Before we move on.
Well, I think the experiment is over. They need to get rid of him.
But I think his contribution has been worthwhile, and I think they proved that some indie jabron with no chin it was more over than most of the entire Raw roster.
Yeah, because he actually had a story and a character.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was. But no, I mean, it was fine for what it was. I think it worked really well for a week, maybe two, and I think they need to move on from it. But it was definitely something different, added into the Dean and AJ feud, which has gone on a while. And actually, Dean and AJ is a feud that I could watch for another 2 months. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I would love to keep seeing them wrestle forever, so it's not a problem for me.
Me too, because, and I think I put that on Twitter, their work rate is like truly sensational in what they're able to accomplish. Like, I don't want to watch anybody else on Raw. I can't, because like the standard is set so high on SmackDown that why would I waste my time? Like, I don't know. I know I'm being critical, but I feel like my point's valid that they don't know what they're doing on Monday nights. But anyway,
no, this has been a great move for Dean Ambrose
Easy.
And AJ Styles as well.
Yeah,
and
Bray Wyatt.
To me, Dean has clearly positioned himself as the best member of the Shield since moving to SmackDown and being able to do more on his own. I mean, I think it's obvious even now that he is the best of the three, and there will be a lot of people who disagree with that, but that's my opinion, and you just have to deal with it.
Well, I mean, I can't even disagree. I can't. I literally cannot even. I cannot even. So Bray and Randy, another good storyline. That's, what do you know?
Randy Orton
getting advanced until the week after. It's a hook, people.
It's a hook. He hears voices in his head. They're telling him to join the Wyatt family. He defeats Kane. No DQ match. Lights go out. Wyatt's interfere. Orton hits an RKO. Then after the match, Orton pushes Kane towards Bray, and Bray hits the sister Abigail. The tease of him joining the Wyatt family continues. And heel Randy Orton working in with the Wyatts, and it would evolve later in the show, is intriguing. So we go on to Alexa Bliss and Carmella defeating Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella.
A decent tag. Not bad.
I really liked here was the post-match promo. I thought Alexa and Carmella really did a good job here on the promo.
Carmella was astounding. She's getting better.
Yes. And she is going to be a good women's heel. And frankly, I thought when I was watching this, I was like, wow, I think Alexa and Carmella could be a good sort of like Mean Girls faction. I mean, they really seem to play off each other well and that, Mean Girls heel type of role.
No, their chemistry is off the charts. And it's so funny because they didn't work together in they did work together in NXT. It was Blake and Murphy against Enzo and Cass. So they had time to be with each other, which is only going to help them more. But it's just they are on such a different level right now because they are giving the writers are giving them the ability to be themselves and utilize.
I'm more interested in the women on SmackDown than I am in the women on Raw. And Raw has Bayley, Sasha, and Charlotte. I mean, that should make no sense, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not even a competition. Not even a competition. Who is better? Not even close. Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm just extremely critical, but like Sasha and Charlotte has run its course, but you get something like Alexa, just a combination of all of them. Even Natalya is interesting. You know there's a problem when Natalya has become interesting and Raw isn't. But I digress.
Yeah, they have managed to give Natalya a singing song lyrics gimmick.
And that's funny as fuck. I have to admit
and it's something. Yeah, it's something. I mean, it's kind of makes you chuckle a bit. It's something, right? And she just it seems like she's presenting herself a lot more natural than she has in a long time. So that's good. Yeah. So we had a American Alpha defeat the Spirit Squad, and short match. Gable pins Mikey with the Grand Amplitude.
That's one team I'm getting sick of. Spirit Squad. They need to go.
Oh yes,
Forever.
They do need to go. I agree. They do. I agree. They need to go. They need to go the way of James Ellsworth. Get out, leave, don't come back. But they're trying to build up American Alpha again, them back into serious contention, I think, and so that's what it's about. But yep, that was that. Ms. TV with Daniel Bryan, and this was one of the top couple of segments of the night. This was incredible.
Easy.
Bryan announces the SmackDown Men's Survivor Series team, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
Yeah.
Miz is irate he isn't part of the team. Daniel says they need people willing to fight, and Miz backed out of fighting Dolph last week. Miz tells Bryan to go back to doing what he does best, moping around John Cena's house on Total Bellas.
I thought it felt real to me. And that's Bryan and Miz are so good together. Unbelievable.
How good is their chemistry?
Yeah.
Have a match at Mania, which I would look forward to the most.
I would too.
Those two, it would be unreal. And it's not going to happen. That is the problem. This is one giant cock tease, okay? This is like the girlfriend that comes over to your house every week and gives you a blowjob, but never finishes you off. And every week you have blue balls because you never get the climax. That's what this is like. That's what Dolph and that's what Miz and Daniel Bryan are like. It feels great at the time, but guess what? There's no ending to it. There's no climax. So it's kind of like, They have been so good. They have great chemistry, and they could have such a great feud leading into a match, which won't happen. So I don't know why they push it. I don't know where they're going with it, but god damn, it is so good. This segment was awesome. Probably my favorite of the night. It was just great. Yeah. The Miz is great. Put that fucking guy in the main event already.
He needs to be there. And not only does he need to be there, I think he deserves to be there. Because the guy's confidence has shot through the roof. And Bryan even mentioned that on Talking Smack. Since that promo on Talking Smack. It's a whole new Miz. And it's about fucking time because the guy's talented. He just hasn't had a chance to develop. Because Raw is literally a cesspool for everything good. It's a vacuum of fun. It vacuums all the fun out. And that's the problem.
So good. Then we had Dolph Ziggler in an IC title open challenge, just squash Kurt Hawkins. And, I mean, the bell rang. Ziggler hit one move, a super kick, and pinned him immediately.
You want to know what that does? The super kick? It makes it feel good again.
Makes it feel good again. And it buries Kurt Hawkins, also, which I'm okay with, because his character sucks.
Yeah, I'm kind of letting go of the Kurt Hawkins hype train. But on the flip side, what's cool is the Raw Open Challenger for the Intercontinental title at Survivor Series. That is a brilliant idea.
It will be interesting. He issues the challenge to any superstar on Raw at Survivor Series and kind of paints a picture of what's going to happen, right? Does Raw win? Then Raw has the Intercontinental title.
No, there's no way.
Yeah,
there's no way. Why? Well, why would they do that?
want to trade Roman for Dolph, and we'll have
No.
Roman on SmackDown, and Roman will go over the entire roster in a handicap match. The entire fucking show will be ruined, and I'll never watch it again.
Roman. Shane. Shane. We're gonna send Roman to Tuesday nights.
God damn, we're gonna put him over strong style. I think I finally know how to get him over.
Yeah. What about one versus all? Roman and his empire against the entire roster. Well, Dad, I think it's a terrible. But it's Roman. I don't know. He'll be the next Goldberg or something.
Oh boy, that would suck. Okay, yeah.
You know what? You and Daniel versus Roman. Winner takes control of SmackDown.
Roman's gonna win, and he's gonna book himself as champion. Do about it.
Yay.
Okay. We had an Orton Wyatt Harper promo backstage. The tease continued, and in fact, Harper says he's hesitant about letting Orton the Wyatt family because he's a snake. Orton's eyes light up with a yellow color as he says he was born with the devil whispering in his ear. He used to call Bray Wyatt a god. I thought this was good. It was different. And I'm intrigued to see where they're going with this. I think this is something definitely fresh especially for Randy, and so this is good.
Yeah, who knew Randy Orton could become relevant? Who knew?
Yeah.
It's been about 6 years, right?
Finally. Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome,
The Usos
welcome
defeat
back,
the
Randy.
Bangers. Jimmy rolls up Mosh from behind for the win. Gotta love the roll-ups. They move on to help represent SmackDown in a tag team match against Raw at Survivor Series.
I will say the Headbangers need to leave too and never come back. Or go to Raw. They love Attitude Era stars on Raw.
They love Attitude Era stars. And take the Spirit Squad with them. The New Day needs some new competition. They've beaten everybody on the show. Might as well.
They actually have.
Yeah, they have. It's no lie. The tag team division is a nightmare on Raw.
Yep.
Dean Ambrose defeated AJ Styles. Dean had asked Mr. Ellsworth to leave. Fans can call an Uber, he said.
That was awesome. Brilliant.
Awesome. Brilliant. He said, don't interfere. And what do you know? The dastardly Ellsworth comes to ringside. He wants to make things right. He distracts AJ. Ambrose counters a phenomenal forearm. Dirty deeds for the win. Dean Ambrose is your number one contender at TLC, I assume?
Yes, that is correct. Now, yeah, it was announced on Talking Smack. Ambrose and Styles at TLC for the strap. How fucking over was this match? And the crowd loved it, right? Like, it's odd.
Oh, yeah.
It's odd to see a crowd care about a main event of a wrestling show. And like they had them at the palm of their hands. And when Ellsworth came out, the crowd flipped out, right?
Yep.
And Styles and Dean are so damn good, and they made people care because there were repercussions. Like this is the last chance, no matter what, for a chance for the title. And it was like, oh, well, what if Ellsworth comes out? And they had like 4 segments with Ellsworth in the back. You can't come out. You can't come out. You can't come out. You can't come out. You can't. And he does anyway. And then I'm like, oh my God, is Dean gonna lose? Like it created this unpredictability, man. It was so well done. So well done.
Yeah, and I thought Ellsworth did a good job for what it was after he did it. He had been beaten, but he had a smile on his face.
That was
a Joker smile.
That was
it was great.
Yeah, good selling. Good fucking selling.
It was great. It was a great story told, and Dean and AJ have been killing it in main event matches on SmackDown. I've really enjoyed it. So, I think, man, they're going to have another good match at TLC. Let's talk about this single Survivor Series team going against Raw. And we know Raw has, they have Roman, Owens, and Jericho, and who else?
Roman, Owens, Jericho, Braun.
There's one
Strongman.
Yes. Oh, who won, of course, a Battle Royal. Squash Sami Zayn. Yeah, I mean, Braun Strowman, the abominable Strowman, and then a mystery person who some have said could be Sami Zayn. I don't know. Team, and then I look at SmackDown, and I really like SmackDown's team. Randy Orton, too. Baron Corbin, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, and AJ Styles. I think that's a really solid 5.
I think it is too. I mean, they're allowing, and so on Talking Smack, Shane and Daniel talked about it a little bit more in depth, and they were like, "Look, Raw is just one big dysfunctional family. We're just focusing on getting our team ready to go up against Raw, because finally, for the first time in how long, Brad? Survivor Series means a fuck. Means a fuck, John. It means a fuck.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
It's about fucking time. So, like, SmackDown is putting so much more emphasis on Survivor Series than Raw is, which I think is a mistake, because Stephanie talks about it once a fucking show, and it means absolutely dick, and they're not changing anything about that. SmackDown has everything going for them right now. I can't even say anything differently. Their team is great. Oh, Brad, how about the Baron Corbin vignette that they aired? Huh?
I really liked it.
Of course you did.
I mean, maybe they've been reading my Twitter account, because this is one of the suggestions I have made, is if they don't have a match for him, they need to keep him fresh on TV and keep putting him over and keep building him up. And what did I say? I said that could easily be done with a vignette segment. That's what they did here. They did a vignette. I thought it was great because it painted him as as a character, and I thought it was a unique character, and it kept him fresh in the minds of fans. So yes, I enjoyed it. How about you?
I did like it. I mean, I already was a fan of Corbin before that, but they're putting his persona in the minds of the fan. And what I mean by that is that his character is complex. There really hasn't been like a lone wolf character quite like this before. So they're keeping it. They're kind of implementing it into everyone's heads. Like, yeah, no family, no friends. Fuck you. I'm Baron Corbin. I'm gonna kill you.
Yep. I don't give a damn.
Yeah. I don't give a shit about who you are, what you're about. I just want to come kick your ass, and that's it. I want to win titles, make some cash, if you will. And that's what's important. And the reason that even though he wasn't on the show, but he had a vignette, and he's already on the Survivor Series team, means that they have plans, which is good.
Absolutely. He's relevant. He's important. And I heard the worst opinion of Baron Corbin ever on Twitter. No surprise there.
I heard about this. Do you want to tell everybody, what happened? It's okay.
I was scrolling through the old Twitter feed across an article, and I'm not going to say who it is because, frankly, they're so bad I don't want to give them any exposure. I'm going to read this quote-unquote wrestling writer's perspective on Baron Corbin. Here we go. Ugh. I don't know what to say about Corbin because really there's not much to say about him. He's another guy who was clearly hired preferred height test set by WWE. He's usually dead-eyed and gormless in the ring and on the mic, and is a pretty bland in-ring performer, typical of the old FCW factory training style, which turned out big man after big man who did the same holds and moves. 5 years in developmental to turn into something special, and I got the feeling that when they shot him up to the main roster, it was because they were just going to see if he sank or swim after so much training and opportunity. I haven't seen anything to indicate that he'll grow beyond what he's currently got, and he doesn't seem motivated to do any better either.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's a serious opinion, apparently.
Well, clearly Corbin's
that was
doing
fucking terrible.
He's doing well for his own gimmick, getting people to actually not like him.
Yeah,
So,
and I heard, and there was another writer part of the article too, where they had said he wasn't athletic.
Really?
Yeah. A guy who is a judo grappling champion, a Golden Gloves boxing champion 3 times over, and a former NFL player is not athletic, apparently. Holy shit. This is what happens when you have the smarkiest of smart fans writing internet articles. Rather see Sami Zayn in the main event drawing 20 people than someone who could have some mainstream appeal who actually looks like a fucking tough guy. It's just, what can you really say? It was a total joke.
Yeah, whoever wrote that is a joke to its fullest. Well, whatever. He's wrong, and Corbin will win the title one day. So before we wrap up, somebody that is relevant and does have an opinion? His name is Dean Iampietro, and he did a run-in for you, Brad. Because I know last week you dearly loved his list. The list is back, everyone. So,
I like this. I think this should be like a weekly thing. I like hearing Dean's list.
And it will be. You beat me to the punch. So, for the second edition of the list of Iampietro, here we are.
Hello. It is time for the list of Dean, week 2. And there's 3 on the list this week. Brad, you are not on the list this week. On the list this week, first, SmackDown storytelling.
Hey!
You are on the list.
You're wrong!
And it has to do with Baron Corbin, Brad's favorite. First of all, Brad, I'm actually kind of glad that your favorite's Baron Corbin, who I've not actually been totally impressed with, but I've been warming up to a little bit after his appearance on Talking Smack. At least it's an upgrade from Hulkamania. So Corbin gets in Daniel Bryan's face, and Bryan says, "Oh, I've got something for you." 2 weeks later, by the way, Corbin gets a video package and he's on Team SmackDown. Wow, was that anticlimactic. Corbin should have been in his face this week for not being on the show last week, and then Bryan could have put him on the team. They could have worked something interesting. SmackDown storytelling. You're on the list.
That's nitpicky.
Speaking of Raw and SmackDown storytelling with the women, the Hell in a Cell, not that great, unfortunately. It was kind of one of those cringeworthy things where you're like, oh God, what are they going to do where they hurt themselves? But then the moves that they tried didn't work. So, first of all, you are so desperate to include as many women as possible that you make Natalya a coach. By the way, that means there are 7 women on the roster on SmackDown. That means all but Ava Marie are now involved in that match. And what about Team Raw's women? On Team Raw for Survivor Series, we have Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Bayley. There's 2 spots left. So who do those spots go to? That would be nice if Sasha got one of them.
Hey!
So let's say Sasha gets one. I can tell you right now, anybody else but a returning Emelina is a disappointment. Summer Rae, Paige, Dana Brooke,
Attitude Era.
Alicia Fox. If you're saving a reveal, it better be Emma. Otherwise, you will stay on the list. And finally on the list, the booking of Rusev. You fed him to another part-timer. How many times is Rusev going to be fed to a part-timer? He was stunned by Austin. He was verbally emasculated by The Rock. And now jackhammered by Goldberg? Why did Rusev even come out? Why would Rusev in storytelling even care? Why would he care? And why has WWE, especially if Vince likes big men, why have they done this to Rusev, who could easily be the most over heel in the company and belongs in the main event picture? Bonus list member this week, Ryback. To use another Jerichoism, would you please shut the hell up? Oh, CM Punk didn't give an effort in my matches. Oh, I wish I was Goldberg. Shut the hell up. You suck. Okay? That's why you're not in the main event. That's why you're not around anymore. You're like the Ultimate Warrior's Renegade is now Goldberg's Ryback. That's the list this week. Guys, back to you.
Can you fill me in now? Who's Renegade?
You just made the list.
Renegade is a Ultimate Warrior ripoff from WCW, and
Really?
yes, he basically looked very much like the Ultimate Warrior. It was a total gimmick infringement, and yeah, they even booked him pretty strong. And yeah, WCW, man, what a joke that was. It was an Ultimate Warrior knockoff. A WCW version. It was bad.
So what do you think of the list of Dean? Some insightful thoughts. I want to know what you think about his Corbin comments, which are justified. Yeah. He has not been on the show in 2 weeks. That's very fair, I would say.
No, I would completely agree. I mean, if I had one thing to point out that I was, had to nitpick the most, it would be that. Yeah, I thought the Talking Smack was great. It was great. But they have to follow up on these Talking Smack episodes. They have to. Now, when he said he had something for him, that had something for him could have been the Survivor Series match. But you have to tell that in the story, right? You have to say on TV, I've got something for you, all right, Baron. You're in the Survivor Series match, and you'd better win or else, or whatever the case may be. Completely agree with that. That makes sense. The women, obviously, we've talked about that, and that is, that is what it is. Especially on Raw, they're booked very poorly. Rusev, we just talked about that. I just finished talking about Rusev. He should be a top heel in the main event picture. I just finished saying that on this very podcast. So obviously we completely agree on that. And Ryback, I always thought he wasn't that great. He did have some sort of an appeal or it factor. There was that moment where he started facing Punk where there was something clicking and it just was ruined when they just continued to job him out.
Yeah.
But he after that it was just kind of like he never regained the same momentum, and I always felt he was kind of a klutz in the ring.
Because he was. Not even if, he was.
Yeah.
Guy had 2 left feet. Imagine a Ryback versus Goldberg match, and people wanted to see that.
And I know Punk didn't really want to work with Ryback because Ryback was, he said, an unsafe worker. So I imagine after some matches with him, he's pretty much, wasn't really willing to go all out against a guy who he feels could hurt him.
Would you? No. Of course not.
So hard to say. Ryback is an interesting guy. His podcast is interesting. Actually, far more interesting than he was in WWE. So.
Ain't that the truth? So,
Yeah.
anyway, we have reached that time once again. Survivor Series is coming up soon. TLC was announced after Roadblock. Wow. It was announced after Survivor Series or after TLC. Yeah, we have a bunch. The cruiserweights. Talk about it.
Yeah, the 205 Live, the Cruiserweight show. It's coming Tuesday at 10 p.m. after SmackDown. So now what they have done, they've taken Talking Smack, which everybody loves, and they've moved it to 11 p.m. in favor of this 205 Live. So now basically, if you want to watch that night Talking Smack, you've got 4 hours of programming. They just completely fucked it up. I thought this was terrible, right? If the cruiserweights are the property of Raw, why are you doing this? If it's a problem, just make the cruiserweights on every show. Do something. But I'm not a big fan of this because the 205 Live show gives them an excuse to have even more lazy booking on Raw with the cruiserweights because they say, you know what, fuck it, we can just do it on 205 Live. Don't worry about it on Raw. I think you'll see them in less and less stories or matches on Raw as it kind of evolves. And show, and I've heard, people are mad, but there's more content. God forbid we give people more wrestling. Well, how about we give them quality content rather than just an abundance of content that's average? Their problem is they're utilizing a quantity over quality model, and it hurts their business. And that's why no one attends these fucking shows, and the ratings suck, etc.
There is such a thing as too much wrestling. There is.
There is. And so it's just one more show that you can easily miss. It's on the network, and so it's not reaching the full Raw audience. And it kind of just separates the cruiserweights as a niche sort of cornered market rather than putting them on the same level as the heavyweights on Raw. And they've done that already with the purple fucking ropes and purple lights and blah, blah, purple title belt. And it's just such a mistake. These guys need to be on the same level as the heavyweights on Raw. And instead they treat them like they're a lesser talent, a lesser division. They're a niche market getting their own show. And I really think you're going to see they're going to really start to rely on the 205 Live more and do less on Raw with them than they are now. So it's fine. I won't be watching it. I mean, I won't be watching this because there's just too fucking much, right? There's just too much. And now I won't be watching Talking Smack because it's on at 11, and I'm not going to stay up every Tuesday from 11 to 12 watching this.
Yeah, no.
So it would have to be later, and later may not happen. So
yeah,
I just think it's a mistake because they have something good, right? They have something good with Talking Smack that Raw didn't have. What do? They give the Raw the same exact fucking thing, which is terrible Raw talk. And then they move Talking Smack to 11 p.m. So they just totally fucked SmackDown again. And they fucked SmackDown just to appease Raw, right? Because the Cruiserweight's on Raw, and they don't have enough time to write them into these shows, so they need their own show on SmackDown's night. And so, basically, this is all being done at the expense of SmackDown. Big surprise. They continually treat SmackDown as the B show, and then, wonder why it's perceived that way. So I don't get it.
No one should be surprised, though. There's the key.
I don't get it. So that is what it is. I mean, it's, they clearly have already been exposed as not understanding how to book the cruiserweights. That's no surprise. We talked about that as a concern from the very beginning when we announced it was returning.
Yes, it is.
What are your thoughts?
What it is. No, you literally took everything that I was going to say out of my mouth. It's going to be a wait-and-see kind of deal.
Speaking of part-timers and Dean's point to Rusev losing to part-timers, at a house show December 3rd in Mexico City, Brock Lesnar will face Rusev.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's going to squash him.
Did you also hear about Brock Lesnar versus Sami Zayn, or was that canceled?
I don't know. It might have actually been Rusev instead of Sami Zayn.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, not good because Rusev continues to lose. He got squashed by Goldberg. Now he's gonna get squashed by fucking Brock Lesnar. I mean, I just don't get it. This guy should be legitimately fighting Brock Lesnar on pay-per-view as a heel in the main event. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, there's that. Did you hear The Undertaker is going to appear on the November 15th, 900th episode of SmackDown, complete with Kane? No, I don't know. Not Kane, the wrestler. I mean Kane, so he can walk. Because he is almost the dead man.
Yeah. This I did hear. It'll be fun. I hope Edge comes. I'll wear my gray sweaties so people know if something happens.
And your buddy, Shinsuke Nakabachi, broke Austin Aries' orbital bone. He had to have surgery. He just had surgery and will be out until the first quarter of 2017. First he nailed Joe in their match, if you remember the title match in NXT.
I do.
Takeover. Now he has fucked up Austin Aries. Is this strong style or is this reckless style?
I want a match between Charlotte, Seth Rollins, and Nakamura.
Oh, what a triple threat that would be. Botchamania.
Yeah, but that's what it'd be called, though. Not the actual Botchamania. Oh, no. That's so funny.
And Dixie, your favorite wrestling promoter, the judge rules in her favor this past Monday. Billy is no longer with TNA Wrestling. He's out. The Anthem Sports Entertainment Network, which owns the Fight Network, has agreed to give credit to TNA to fund them. Don't ask me why, because this is a fucking money-draining event. I mean, they don't make money. They lose money, so I don't understand this investment. And TNA wrestler Mike Bennett tweeted out after the verdict, "Welp, back to bad business as usual." High morale in TNA.
Yeah, I'm hashtag high morale. They need to burn in hell, all of them together.
I think I'm convinced at this point it's just got to fucking die. I just can't take it anymore. It's got to die.
I don't know.
It's like Old Yeller, and we've got to take it out back and shoot it.
Well, I hope it happens soon. Knock on wood. I really do. They need to all go. But anyway, it is past my bedtime. It's late here on Wednesday, the November 3rd. So let's do what we always do. Where can we find you on the Twitter machine? Because that's the only place you are.
That's right. I'm off the grid, baby. But you can find me on the Twitter machine at the VOTV Podcast, running our Twitter account. And, if you piss me off, I may block you. If you want to talk about wrestling, I'm all ears. I would love to talk wrestling. And I'm very approachable, unless you are stupid. And then I'm completely unapproachable.
Well, aren't you honest? You can find me Jumpish3 on Twitch.tv, Wrestling News Hub on Facebook, and Jumpish Gaming on Twitter. Anything else before we ride up into the sunset?
Dick's out for Harambe.
And Dick's out for Ryback. We'll see you all next week.
Feed me more.
And don't forget, if you don't watch our show next week, you want to know what's going to happen? Want to know the one consequence? If you don't watch our show,
You just made the list!
Oh!